being on a team with probably, we probably had 30 guys. Everyone's doing something different. Everyone studies different things. Everyone's from a different place. Everyone's involved in different activities, but we all need to come together and, wrestle, be a part of a team. We have to put all that stuff aside and we got to be able to actively communicate with each other. And in a sport like wrestling, it gets pretty tough to be you know, it's hard to be friends with someone who beats you or really bullies you and stuff like that on the mat, but it's something that we had to do. I mean, and I understood too, we don't all have to be friends. We should try to be friends. We're not going to like each other. Some people aren't going to get along, but that doesn't mean that we can't communicate with each other and almost take a little bit of professionalism with it. People might not like each other. They might disagree with what they have to say, but at the end of the day, if word needs to be communicated, if we need to say, okay, we're all going to practice 4:15, everyone needs to be there, that needs to get communicated in an effective way. Or if, something where last second, coach sends us word, it's all right, especially with the COVID year, and even my junior year, we had stuff where it was we'd be ready to go, the day before, and then all of a sudden, literally 8 hours before we're supposed to wrestle, our coach is hey, we're not going anymore. The other team got COVID and stuff like that. So just being able to I gotta communicate this in a way to, my team that's gonna be all right, I understand everyone's gonna be upset about it, but gotta communicate to them too, we can't control everything. Communication is probably one of the most important parts of what I do today. Being able to communicate to 200 people in a company or 40 people in my platoon, what needs to be done, what we need to do the task, what the task is, and why we're doing it. That's probably one of the most important parts too, is the why. Because if you can't communicate the why or the purpose of what you're doing, then people who are under you or people you are in charge of leading, they're not going to be fully necessarily bought in on, why are we doing this? Why are we hiking 10 miles at 3 a.m.? What's the purpose of this? We're going to do it, but, giving them the why is almost that's going to solidify it. And I think that was a big part of, I developed that a lot at Gettysburg, being put in these leadership positions, having the trust of my coaches, especially Coach Gino and Coach Rustin. They really trusted us. They let us, basically when we were in the off season, we were able to structure the team workouts the way we wanted to, do the things that we wanted to do, hang out with the team, stuff like that. And then when we were in the season, they still gave us a lot of that trust. But most importantly, the trust to get what they needed to get done, because we literally live with these guys. We know what they're studying, we know what they're doing, we know who they're involved with, what organizations they are a part of, and we were able to socialize with them, and kind of if coach needed me to get through to a kid, whatever, I need you to give more effort or stuff like that, I would be able to communicate that in a way that is not as, it's more relatable, or it's going to be easier heard from me than it is from the coach. So that's where being that good conduit of information between your subordinates in a sense of my career right now, but my fellow teammates,